Welcome to channel. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. The year was 1999. Deep within NASA, alarms blared, systems flickered, panic set in. Someone had breached the impenetrable fortress of America's space agency. Not a seasoned hacker, not a foreign government, a teenager. A 15-year-old boy, Jonathan James, had infiltrated the digital sanctum, leaving behind a trail of astonishment and fear. His weapon of choice? A keyboard. His playground? The boundless realms of cyberspace. This is the story of a brilliant mind, a tragic fate, and the indelible mark left on the digital landscape. Jonathan James, born in Miami in 1983, displayed an early affinity for technology. Computers weren't just gadgets, they were portals to unseen worlds, puzzles begging to be solved. Yet behind the screen's glow lay a troubled childhood, divorced parents, feelings of isolation. Technology became both solace and escape. He dove into programming languages, mastering the intricate dance of ones and zeros. Little did anyone know, this digital refuge would become the launchpad for an extraordinary, albeit tumultuous, journey. Jonathan's playground wasn't limited to games and chat rooms. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, his sights turned to the ultimate challenge: NASA. The very mention of the agency conjured images of rocket launches, astronauts, and cutting-edge technology. It was a digital fortress, guarded by firewalls and encryption, a challenge too tempting to resist. He meticulously studied their systems, probing for weaknesses. With each keystroke, he chipped away at their defenses, navigating the labyrinthine network with the grace of a seasoned explorer. His persistence paid off. Jonathan breached NASA's network, gaining access to sensitive files, including source code for the International Space Station's life support systems. He downloaded software, disrupting communications and forcing the agency to shut down their systems for weeks. The cost? An estimated $41,000, a drop in the bucket compared to the potential chaos he could have unleashed. News of the breach sent shockwaves through the world. Governments and security experts were stunned. Who was this digital phantom? The answer, when it came, was even more shocking. Section 5. Living in the Crosshairs. The FBI launched a full-scale investigation, Operation Gopher, their sights set on finding the perpetrator. Jonathan's digital fingerprints, once invisible, became his undoing. A knock on the door, a warrant in hand, his world came crashing down. He was 16, a child prodigy facing the full weight of the law. The media frenzy was relentless, painting him as a criminal mastermind, a threat to national security. But behind the headlines was a scared teenager, caught in the web he himself had woven. Section 6. The Walls Close In. Operation Gopher. The investigation was swift and merciless. The FBI, armed with search warrants and forensic experts, descended upon his home. They seized computers, meticulously piecing together his digital trail. Jonathan's world, once a sanctuary of code and connection, was turned inside out. The evidence was overwhelming. He confessed, expressing remorse for his actions, his youthful curiosity now a burden of guilt and fear. The legal system, ill-equipped to handle such a unique case, grappled with how to punish a child who had exposed the vulnerabilities of giants. Section 7. A Life Upended. The consequences were swift and life-altering. In a matter of moments, his entire world was turned upside down. The courtroom was filled with a tense silence as the judge delivered the sentence, a gavel hitting the sound block echoing the finality of the decision. Charged as a juvenile, he served 6 months of house arrest and probation. The ankle monitor became a constant reminder of his confinement, a symbol of his restricted freedom. Each day was a struggle as he navigated the limitations imposed upon him. His access to computers was severely restricted, his every digital move scrutinized. The once boundless world of the internet was now a minefield of restrictions and surveillance. He could no longer explore the digital realm with the same freedom and curiosity. The boy who once roamed freely in cyberspace was now trapped, both by the legal system and the notoriety of his actions. The walls of his home felt like a prison, and the weight of his mistakes bore down on him heavily. The experience left an indelible mark, a constant reminder of the fine line between curiosity and transgression. He spent countless hours reflecting on his actions, trying to understand where he went wrong and how he could make amends. The world saw him as a hacker, a criminal, but beneath the labels was a young man struggling to understand the consequences of his actions. The media painted him as a villain, but those close to him knew the complexity of his situation. He was not just a headline, he was a person, grappling with the weight of his choices and the path to redemption. Section 8. Falsely accused, deeply scarred. Years passed, each one marked by a struggle to reclaim a sense of normalcy. Jonathan tried to rebuild his life, haunted by his past. The memories of false accusations lingered, casting a shadow over every new beginning. He sought redemption, expressing a desire to use his skills for good. He volunteered at community centers, teaching kids about technology, hoping to make a positive impact. But the digital world, once his refuge, now felt like a prison. Every keystroke reminded him of the accusations, the mistrust, and the isolation. Then, in 2007, a new threat emerged. The headlines screamed of a massive cyber attack, and the nation was on edge. A massive data breach targeting major retailers shook the nation. Personal information of millions was compromised, and fear spread like wildfire. Jonathan, despite his efforts to move on, found himself in the crosshairs once again. The authorities, desperate for answers, turned their gaze towards him. The authorities suspected his involvement, their suspicions fueled by his past. They interrogated him relentlessly, searching for any sign of guilt. He vehemently denied any involvement, proclaiming his innocence, but the damage was done. The scars of being falsely accused ran deep, and the trust he had worked so hard to rebuild was shattered once more. Section 9. The price of freedom. The accusations took a toll. Jonathan, already grappling with the weight of his past, spiraled into depression. The fear, the uncertainty, the constant scrutiny became unbearable. He had paid his debt to society, yet he was still branded a criminal, his future forever shadowed by his past. The digital world, once a source of empowerment, had become a double-edged sword. It had given him a voice, but it had also amplified his mistakes, defining him in the eyes of the world. Section 10. A desperate plea for peace. In 2008, Jonathan James, at the age of 24, took his own life. In his suicide note, he maintained his innocence in the 2007 data breaches, expressing a profound sense of despair and hopelessness. "I have no faith in the justice system," he wrote. His death sent shockwaves through the digital community and beyond. It was a stark reminder of the human cost of cybercrime, both for the victims and the perpetrators. Jonathan's story, a tragic blend of brilliance and recklessness, became a cautionary tale. Section 11. The digital ghost. Jonathan's legacy is complex and multifaceted. He was a brilliant mind, a pioneer who exposed the vulnerabilities of our increasingly interconnected world. His actions, while illegal, forced governments and corporations to rethink cybersecurity, to fortify their digital defenses. Yet, he was also a troubled soul, a young man who struggled with the consequences of his actions, forever branded by the label of hacker. His story serves as a reminder that behind every line of code, every digital footprint lies a human being. Section 12. A legacy of warning, a whisper of what if. Jonathan James's story is a tragedy. It's a tale that resonates deeply within the digital community, a stark reminder of the fragility of youth and the immense pressures that come with extraordinary talent. It's a tale of wasted potential, of a life cut short by the weight of expectation and the unforgiving nature of the digital world. Jonathan was a prodigy, a young man whose skills in the realm of hacking were unparalleled, yet his journey was marred by the relentless pursuit of perfection and the fear of failure. It's a reminder that our actions, especially in the online realm, have real-world consequences. The digital world, while offering boundless opportunities, also harbors dangers that can have profound impacts on our lives and the lives of those around us. But it's also a story of brilliance, of a young man who challenged the status quo, who exposed the vulnerabilities of our increasingly interconnected world. Jonathan's skills were not just a testament to his intelligence, but also to his curiosity and his desire to understand the systems that govern our digital lives. Jonathan's legacy is a complex tapestry of caution and inspiration, a reminder that the digital world, for all its wonders, is a double-edged sword. His story serves as both a warning and a beacon, illustrating the thin line between innovation and transgression. It's a world where anonymity can be both a shield and a prison, where a few keystrokes can change the course of history. The power that comes with digital anonymity can be liberating, but it can also lead to isolation and a sense of detachment from the consequences of one's actions. And as we navigate this ever-evolving landscape, we're left to ponder the question, what if Jonathan's brilliance had been nurtured, his potential realized? What if the support systems in place had recognized his genius and guided him towards a path of constructive innovation rather than destructive exploration? What if, instead of a cautionary tale, his story became one of redemption and triumph? Imagine a world where Jonathan's talents were harnessed for the greater good, where his contributions to cybersecurity could have protected countless individuals and institutions from digital threats. These are the questions that linger, a haunting reminder of the fine line between curiosity and consequence, between brilliance and despair. Jonathan's story is a call to action for all of us to recognize and nurture the potential within our youth, to provide them with the guidance and support they need to thrive in a world that is both wondrous and perilous.